Guys, what is up and what is going on? It is your host with the most, Paw Plant 2, reminding you that Earth is my planet.
Earth is my planet.
So you guys know by the title and thumbnail, today we are upgrading my backyard / entire property food forest. I have a ton of plants that are doing extremely well. I live in the Southeast in Houston, Texas, and these are all plants that I think people who live in the Southeast can grow and can get some fruit from. So yes, my whole mission is to bring wildlife, edibles, and other just really cool gardening extravaganza specialities into, of course, my 1/4 acre lot, and just to overall create a jungle that not only I can enjoy, but the wildlife can enjoy as well. So that is the mission. We have a ton of cool plants to throw in the ground today, and this is a relatively new channel. So before we get into it, please just smash that like button. It does help me out exponentially. Okay, so the first plant that I'm throwing in the ground today is a native food-bearing plant species to North America, and this can grow in a ton of different climate zones, and it is the Paw Paw tree, or the custard apple. This is the only tree in the tropical fruit family that does grow in North America, which is super cool, and it does benefit some native species, which is also an added bonus. So one of my huge errors in the past was trying to plant things or fit squares into circle pegs, and that just did not help. Like, I was trying to plant a ton of citrus and it would freeze, then I would lose a ton of trees, and that is just not the move anymore. So I'm trying to work with deciduous trees that also have amazing tasting fruit that looks super good and that I won't have to replace if a crazy ass weather event does come through. So this guy definitely does qualify. Let's get him in. So as I dig this hole, let me put you guys onto some edumacations. Paw Paw trees can grow from zones 5 all the way to 9 in the US. They like moist soils, a variety of different types they will work with, and light conditions as well. So they are a true understory tree, getting about 10 to 40 feet tall. So this dude can thrive in shade, part shade to full sun, anywhere in between. It looks clean because it is tropical, it's architectural and deciduous, so it can survive cold climates, which definitely is good news for me. All right, so the Paw Paw tree is in the ground, and now it is time to throw in a nice shrub layer. So you guys know this is a food forest, and forests have layers. There's the canopy, there also is like a sub canopy, there's the shrub layer, ground covers, and then vining plants as well. So we're throwing in a shrub layer plant right now with edible leaves. This is Okinawan spinach. Now, what's really cool about this plant is in early January, when monarchs are traversing all the way to Mexico, this dude is a crazy magnet for them to stop by and get some nice nectar from. The flowers are nuts, and this guy does survive in a nice part shade environment, which I do have going on back here. So I'm gonna put this dude in the ground. It has beautiful purple undersides of the leaves, and the leaves are kind of spicy. Now, it's not quite as delicious as spinach. If you guys just don't like spinach, you probably won't like this in your mouth, but it does kind of have an interesting spice to it on the young leaves, and it definitely adds a little flavor and kicks up a sandwich just to the highest of degrees, especially coming from your own backyard, and it's perennial, bruh, too easy. So Okinawa spinach is hands down the perfect plant for an edible landscape, especially if you guys live in zones 8 to 11. It is a tropical to subtropical plant. Again, it's perennial, it's not going anywhere, and hence why I'm throwing it in all different localities of my garden. Holy shit, there's a snake. Hey, we bring wildlife into the garden, but there's a couple more I want to put in the front yard as well, especially in my shade covered garden, to produce some food, so everyone walking their dogs by can see, dang, what is that? It's edible. So we're in the front yard, and y'all can see we have one Okinawan spinach right there. It was super big, and what's cool about these guys is during the freeze, it died to the ground, and it always comes back. So it's a nice flush of new growth. So this one is nice and full, but it is a standalone plant. So we're gonna go ahead and flank it with 2 more. So you can't leave the dude lonely. I had to throw in 2 of Okinawa spinach's homies. And once again, this is kind of like apocalypse survival protocol and landscaping at the same time. I don't know how long I would last off this, but the shoots are easy to propagate. You can do it in water. You even can grow these guys inside if you see fit. And they thrive in full sun to part shade. So this space is absolutely ideal for them. And I can't wait for them to spread into a nice 2-foot ground cover / shrub layer in my garden. It'll be so nice. And all right, so we have the Okinawan spinach in the ground ready to spice up my sandwiches. And now, as I previously mentioned, vine layers are important. So right now I have a native species. This is a passion flower vine. They pop off with crazy looking, almost alien-like flowers that are purple to pinkish, and they do produce fruit. You guys have probably had like passion fruit juices or whatever flavored beverages. And so yeah, I'm gonna throw this one in the ground. I'm not sure how good it will taste because this is a native species. It's not a cultivar. It's not really bred for the food in and of itself, but it'll crawl up some of these trees, provide amazing benefits to wildlife. And then once it does produce the fruit, I can report back. Let's get it in. So Maypops or Passiflora incarnata vines can grow from zones 5 all the way to 10. That's West Virginia all the way down to Texas. They twine and vine along trees, fences. They are deciduous, and once the fruit comes, it attracts wildlife. Indigenous people ate it, and the soil type can be dry, moist, as long as it is fertile. Hence why I'm planting it next to a pine tree where it can climb up, put on quite a show with the alien incredible flowers, and take off. All right, we've migrated back into the backyard, and I'm throwing in the last passion flower right along this fence line because you can see behind me there is this ugly grid pattern little trellis. I got it at an estate sale, actually, super cheap. But yeah, I want this dude to encrust the fence with flowers, completely take over, and really lend to that lost jungle aesthetic and food producing vibe I'm going for. So as I throw in the third passion flower vine, keep in mind this guy does have some medicinal benefits as well. The Inca made tonics with it to treat toothaches and also to calm their nerves. And this is a host plant for a ton of different native butterflies, such as the Gulf fritillary, the blue hair streak, and the red banded hair streak. And as y'all can see on the leaf, we have a cocoon with a baby butterfly. So hopefully it does develop, not get eaten, and will thrive. Canopy, shrubs, vines, all have been covered, and now we are back to the tree layer with this banana ice cream edition, the ice cream banana tree. And this guy is going to produce some really tasty fruit. It is relatively cold hardy, and all I have to do if a freeze comes through again is cut it to the ground and just cover it with leaves and other natural debris. And where this is going is behind my wildflower meadow. This is hands down my best success as of yet. Just look at the amount of wine cups that are in here right now. Oh my Lord. This area is stuffed. But you can see the ugly house behind him, and this will definitely help to disguise the house as well and fully lend to my tropical aesthetic, while at the same time having all these crazy wildflowers in front of it. So I think it'll look really cool. I hate to state the obvious, but the ice cream banana evidently tastes like ice cream. It requires full sun and is cold hardy, hence why I'm putting it right here. And by cold hardy, I mean it can get down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit and easily survive that. So I really think this will be a perfect tasting fruiting plant. It'll lend to the tropical aesthetic. It'll get all the full sun it needs, and I can't wait to watch this young pup grow to be 15 to 20 feet tall and make your boy some fruits. All right, I just added one more tree to the garden. It just looks like a pile of sticks because it has not leafed out yet. And this is a peach tree. It is a Florida Grande peach, which requires low chill hours, which is perfect for a hot climate like this. And yeah, dude, my battery died when I was recording it, so sorry. So next up, I'm throwing in yet another shrub, and this is a pineapple guava or a fijoa. Now I have one of these guys that is really, really large right here. It has really cool blue-green foliage, and I planted another one so they could cross-pollinate, but unfortunately, one of them died. This one stuck around, it's doing great, so I gotta throw in its accomplice. And I say accomplice because despite the fact that pineapple guavas are self-fertile, if you have two of them, they will cross-pollinate and produce even more fruit. And this is another one of those subtropical species growing in zones 8 all the way to 11. The leaves look really aesthetic in a landscape sense, and they can make some food for your boy. It only makes sense. So I threw one on the outside of my house as well, next to another one I had previously planted. And overall, these look great, and I can't wait to watch them grow up and produce some food for my stomach. So we have the fijoas in the ground, and next up we have another native fruit-bearing tree. This is a Texas persimmon. I got this at Buchanan's Native Plant Nursery. This is a very cool tree. It has amazing bark. It does produce fruit that both we can eat, wildlife can eat, and overall, I'm just curious to see how it grows. It likes dry soil, so I think underneath these pine trees where they do suckle a lot of the water out, this guy will come through. So yeah, the Texas persimmon is highly drought tolerant and can grow from zones 7 all the way to 9. It is native to Texas and northeastern Mexico. I'm curious to try the fruit if it does produce, but this guy is grown for its hardwood, striking coloration of the bark, and overall aesthetic. So we have planted a ton of stuff today, and the last guy we are throwing in the ground is the sweet leaf or Katuk. Now you can just eat this straight up. Hold on. Bro, it tastes very interesting, almost like slightly peanutty, and that leaf might have been a little bit older. Hold on, let me try a little one. Hold up. Bro, it tastes kind of like peanuts. It's crazy. So yeah, this is an edible leafy green, highly nutritious. So I'm gonna throw this dude in the ground. I was gonna plant it in this like kind of shady area, but it does like full sun. So I'm gonna go ahead and 360 it and put it back here. So Katuk or sweet leaf is rich in a ton of different vitamins and minerals. Now this guy is a pretty tropical plant native to Southeast Asia. So I'm talking zones 9 all the way to 11 is where it'll grow. And I am just munching on it as I garden. So I'll see how well this survives out here in Houston. All right, y'all, there it is, man. We are completely and totally done adding a bunch of edibles into the garden. Again, from vines to trees to shrubs to slight ground covers. You already know what time it is. So definitely stay tuned. I'm gonna do a full food forest update and tour once some things mature. I got flowers on my apple trees right now, which is really cool. I added a couple more apple trees as well on the side of my yard, which is very cool. And overall, man, I'm excited to see where things go. Next up, I definitely gonna have to maintain this area and chop off some of these oak tree branches just to let more light in on all the fruiting species I have along the fence line. But if you guys did enjoy whatsoever, please be sure to smash that like button. It definitely does help me out. It's free to do, so please just go ahead and like this video. I appreciate it. Drop a comment down below with any plant suggestions. I don't want anything that is tropical and can die in a freeze. All right, so I'm just trying to avoid that because I put in a ton of citrus before and I try to cover them up, and overall they die to the ground and come back from the rootstock. So I don't want any of that. But if you guys have cool plants that will reemerge from the ground if a freeze does come through, such as the Okinawan spinach, the Katuk, the bananas, things like that, let me know. I'm always ears wide open to hearing any suggestions, or I guess eyes wide open because I'm reading y'all's comment. Whatever. Either way, I love you guys, and always remember, Earth is my planet.
Earth is my planet.
Peace.
Killing these songs, leaving a bloody life I roost to. And I'm in it to win it, so I'm somebody that you should get used to.